Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm doing a couple of videos on the same day because I wanted to talk about both of these things. And I didn't know if I wanted to talk about them tomorrow because I put them off a couple of days. But before I get into it, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. It would mean the world to me. I'm trying to grow my channel, and your support just means the world to me. Let's get to it. Okay, so I saw the other day, I saw a content creator. I'm pretty sure she's African, and there are quite a few like kind of like reactionary videos that are from African creators where they'll play other people's content and then they'll ask you questions about it or get feedback regarding it. But the reason why I want to talk about this young lady is that she was talking about um, culture of trust. And she showed like a kind of a video. I don't know if it was a TikTok or an Instagram from another person talking about the fact that if people keep saying go back to Africa, right? And that if Black citizens from the US left, the hole that it would leave in the economy, in the culture, and that it would be felt. Some people picked apart her vocabulary, but many of the things that she was saying was true. Now, this content creator, at the end of her video, she basically said that if Black people left the US, it would be a culture of confidence, a culture of trust, that it would be that way. Let's back up. Before Black voices had a say in representation that look like us. And before we started dominating in every field possible, there were white residents and groups, subsets that were fighting amongst themselves. I'm talking Italians, I'm talking Irish, yes, and more, that were not getting along. This is before the, oh, but at least I'm not Black kind of mindset, right? And so they were fighting amongst themselves, and it was bloody. And I'm not quite sure how it's going to be erased and made whole from Black residents leaving. So just like we're the problem. We're 14% of the population, but we're the problem. Don't be fooled by some of these numbers that talk about, because they're really the representation of like the numbers are, or the explanation of these numbers are disproportionate because the police system that was established to catch runaway slaves, because that's where the police force came from, lock up Black and brown individuals at a disproportionate rate. So you may see more of it, but there's plenty that are in jail that are innocent. Yes, there's some that are guilty. There's plenty that are innocent and they're just the wrong shade. And there are plenty of white individuals that are guilty that are walking the streets because, oh, they look so pure. They look so innocent. They look like they couldn't hurt a fly. They come from such a great family. Oh, they just made a tiny mistake. And they're going to learn from it. So, what am I talking about? When you talk about the number of murders, white men. You talk about the grapes, white men. And there's more. So you think removing Black citizens and sending them back to Africa or wherever is going to take away that problem? Guess what? It's not, because this is a melting pot. The US is a melting pot. And that means there's going to be Asian people left. How many times are you going to hear, oh, it originated in China? China flu. That's going to go away? There's Hispanics. So I guess they're going to And I'm talking about like as far as like the population, there's a lot of Hispanic um, people that are in the US, so they're going to go. Because trust me, if the Black individuals aren't here, they're going to look for a new race to be at the bottom of the totem pole. I was so mad that she took that stance and she said that. And you know what happened in the comments? They're like, thank you for telling the truth. Because everything wrong with the US is it's because of blacks. Never mind the drugs were pushed out into urban areas. Never mind the fact that they're talking about welfare queens or welfare, whatever the terminology was, talking about black women. But guess what? SNAP welfare, guess who is the top race? White individuals. And I find it interesting that when I say something, it's like you're stupid and you don't research it. But when she said that, because it fit the narrative of anti Blackness, they didn't question where she got her numbers. Because you can look it up. You can do a little simple search and say, which race has a higher percentage of this? Who commits this type of crime? Who does this? What is the race? And when you talk about like murders, they'll say, "Oh, well, it's a smaller population of blacks, but it's more that are arrested and jailed or convicted." That doesn't tell the whole story because the system is not set up to represent us. The system is set up to lock us up. And if you don't have a good lawyer and you look like me, you're going to have issues and you're more than likely going to go to jail. And unfortunately, people can turn around and just shoot you and say they're scared. They were scared for their lives. They can follow you around through a neighborhood, but they're scared. Unalive you, they're scared. But this African woman who has more melanin than me, who has a strong African accent, has the nerve to say that Black Americans are the problem. Because if you say that it's a confident society or a trust culture like Korea, where they can just go in and no one has to be in there and they'll just go in and they'll pay for it, and you don't, it's a no contact place because they trust that the people will pay for it. Or if it's China where they're heavily surveilled and they have to have red note because you have to have a special VPN to be able to like see something that's out because so many apps and things are banned, and the government surveils you and they know everything you're doing. That's a kind of reality you want. Maybe. Because if they take care of me when there's a natural disaster, or I can go and I can have health care at a reasonable price, and I can have confidence that someone's not going to just go after me because of my skin tone, you may reconsider it. But damn, I can't believe she was saying that and that people were just going for it in the comments. I just can't believe it because that's bullshit. And from a Black woman saying that and perpetuating that fallacy, man, man, there's a problem with the world. We're not the problem, but we continue to be the solution.